If you've ever winced from like an ice cream cone or drinking cold water, then you probably know how brutal sensitive teeth can be. Now, think for a second. Imagine tiny little nanobots like swimming inside of your teeth and plugging up whatever's causing that sensitivity. I know, sounds like science fiction, right? Well, this might be a reality. Researchers at the Indian Institute of Science have just came up with something called CalBots. These are basically these magnetic little nanobots that are like 400 nanometers long. That is so small that millions of these could fit onto a pinhead. Their goal with these things is to fix sensitive teeth. Now, what causes sensitive teeth? So typically we get sensitive teeth when our enamel gets thinner. So our enamel is the outer part of our tooth. And think of it as like the protecting part of our tooth. Now, when we lose our enamel, we have our dentin underneath. Our dentin is basically like these channels to our nerve, because inside of our dentin are these little micropores. So I drew a quick little diagram here that's gonna help explain it. So this outer black part is our enamel, or the outer part of our tooth. But our dentin is this green part underneath. Now, I didn't have a yellow marker, but our dentin is actually more yellow in color. So that's why when we lose like our enamel, or enamel gets a little bit thinner, our teeth can look more yellow. This is why I say to avoid that charcoal toothpaste. People say it's gonna whiten your teeth, but actually all it's doing is scrubbing off your enamel, and eventually it's gonna make your teeth look more yellow because it's gonna show that dentin. But anyway, let's say we get into our dentin, our teeth are gonna look more yellow, but also our teeth are gonna be more sensitive because our dentin has these little microtubules, these micropores that basically signal to our nerve. And this red part is like the nerve inside of our tooth. So that's why when you drink something cold or like get like something that triggers it, sometimes like sweets will trigger it, that will make our teeth feel a lot more sensitive. Now, typically what we use when we use like a sensitivity product, like Sensodyne or one of those other like anti-sensitivity things, they will actually block these nerve endings. So for example, a common one is potassium nitrate, like in different sensitivity toothpastes. That will actually like go over these tubules and like block them. So that way when you drink something cold, you don't really feel it because all these tubules are sealed up, so you don't really get that nerve response anymore. Now, think of those as like a temporary fix. Now that's different from when these little like nanobot robots are gonna do. Those nanobots are gonna go inside of here and put like a bioceramic material. Now this bioceramic material is already FDA approved, by the way. And they guide them here with this like magnetic field. And once they get deep inside these tubules, they will start depositing their material and kind of like a cement plug that will like permanently seal off these tubules. Think of it kind of acting like an artificial enamel. That's like the closest thing that it's gonna be to. And the important thing is they're actually not just at the surface level, they're actually forming like a full impermeable layer. So in a nutshell, it's like those sensitivity toothpaste, but on steroids. So this is gonna help protect the nerve even more, and it's gonna help the tooth remineralize and strengthen itself even more. And it's gonna be more resistant to bacteria and other things that are gonna cause more problems and more sensitivity. And they actually already tested these CalBots on these extracted human teeth. And they found that in these extracted teeth, they actually sealed those tubules successfully. And they even tested these things on mice with tooth sensitivity. So they had these mice that were like avoiding cold water because they had sensitive teeth. But when they put these CalBots on their teeth and then they sealed up these tubules, these mice were able to drink the cold water without any problems. The researchers even called it a 100% recovery. Now this is great, this is exciting and all, but it's still in the early stages. So again, it's only been tested really on mice. It hasn't really been tested on humans. I know it's been tested on human teeth, but those are human teeth that have been extracted and prepared in a lab, not actually on humans. Luckily on the mice, there's been no adverse effects, but with these type of things, we want to be extra careful. Luckily, it's already been FDA approved, so it sounds really promising so far. I still think we're like years away before dentists can actually use this on patients, because like just like the practicality of controlling it with like a magnetic field to get it in the right spot, and now you're also factoring like the saliva, the bacteria in your mouth, everything going on. It's a little bit more complex when you're comparing it to just doing it in a lab. But this is huge. This can have even more like broad term uses, like not just for sensitivity, but it can even like prevent getting like root canals. Because let's say like you have these bacteria that are getting into your nerve here, or getting close to your nerve, but now instead of having your dentin, which is weaker than your enamel, now if you have like stronger things, like more stronger enamel, it's gonna be harder for bacteria to eat away through that to get into your nerve. So it can prevent other treatments, it can even prevent bacteria from getting deeper, and it can help even more with sensitivity. Now, with that being said, would you trust these little nanobot things going inside of your teeth and actually repairing them? Let me know in the comment section below. Regardless, all the more reason to make sure you're at least brushing and flossing so you don't have to be the first one to get tested on this. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Do you ever catch yourself clenching your jaw while you're working, or while you're driving, or even while you're scrolling on TikTok? That tension can be really bad for your teeth, but it can even cause headaches, it can cause jaw pain and TMJ problems. But luckily, if this happens to you, there is a quick breathing exercise that you can do literally in that moment that might be able to stop you from clenching. So